Welcome to another Round the Grounds episode. So the season is upon us. I'm filming this just over a week to go to the big EFL kick-off, League Two, League One and the Sky Bet Championship. Absolutely buzzing for it. It's that time of the year where pundits and fellow vloggers get the predictions in for the leagues, the standings. So I thought I'd have a little bash and go through each division. On this one it's going to be the EFL League Two, so we're going to start 24th and give you my top team. So yeah, we're going to run through it. It's going to be brief. I'm not an expert. For me it's just something I want to try and have a little crack at and just do a little couple of bonus videos because I'm raring to go for the big kick-off. So yeah, EFL League Two, predictions from around the grounds. Like I say, apologise if your team's not where you thought it should be. Like I say, I'm not an expert. It's just something I'm going to have a little crack at, and yeah, just have a look at my progress throughout the season, see if I get any close. I'll probably be way off because last season I think I did it, but I didn't do a video. I just did it with a fellow 72 review guys, and yeah, we were miles out. So like I say, I'm not an expert, but yeah, let's get cracking. EFL League Two predictions from around the grounds. So yeah, my first pick, finishing bottom, 24th. It's a club that's had a lot of turmoil over the past few months. I've looked a couple of actually picked these from videos that I've seen, but for me, I think Morecambe are really going to struggle this year. I think with everything that's gone on at the club, I know signings have come in, but with the league, I think there's teams they're going to find it tough. Obviously, Derek Adams is back, and they'll be glad about. Good manager. But for me, I just think they'll struggle this year. Just looking at the signings, I think they've signed 15. Looking at it here, but yeah, for me, I think they'll struggle. Hence why I'm putting them in 24th. I just think with what's going off behind the scenes, it's going to affect them. But we said that last year with Crawley, and they proved everyone wrong. So Morecambe fans will probably be hoping for the same. But yeah, that's my 24th pick. My pick to finish 23rd and also go down to the National League. Sorry Newport fans, I just feel with the new manager coming in and how they went about it, obviously parting company with Graham Coughlin, but they didn't do it straight away. Waited to more or less a month after the season had finished, which was a bit of an odd one for me. And this new manager coming in, I'm going to try and pronounce his name, Nelson Jardim, is it? I think it's his first job in English football. Could go one or two ways. For me, I think that's why I've picked him to go down with Morecambe. I just think that's going to affect him. League Two, it's a very, very tough league, and you need that experience. You look at the managers in there, really got their experience. So yeah, it'd be a worrying appointment for me. Might prove everyone wrong, but yeah, Newport and my team to finish 23rd and get relegated. Like I said, Newport fans, I apologise. My pick for 22nd, finishing in 22nd, is Swindon Town. I believe they'll have a struggling season with rumblings of what's going on off the pitch, behind the scenes. I do really think it's going to affect them. I think they've struggled last season also, and yeah, it's just been a frustrating couple of seasons for Swindon because their fans will be wanting them to kick on and go and challenge up the top half of the table. But yeah, it's just, I think with what's going off off the pitch, it's going to affect them. So yeah, they're my pick for finishing in 22nd. And my pick to finish in 21st is Accrington Stanley. Again, there's a running theme with my reasoning for why teams are down where they are and why I've gone for them. I think stability, especially in League Two, is massive. But yeah, Accrington obviously, John Coleman, finally no longer at Accrington Stanley. Will it really affect him? I know I spoke to a massive Accrington fan who I'm quite pally with, and he feared for him this coming season. So obviously losing a couple of key players, one of note to Gillingham. I think it's going to be a long, hard season for Accrington. A manager obviously is going to have a tough task on his hands. So yeah, that's my reasoning for Accrington finishing in 21st. And my team to finish in 20th place is Harrogate Town. The job Simon Weaver's done over the years is quite remarkable. Obviously managed them for some years now. And you've just got to take your cap off for the job he's done. Obviously last year really competed against some top sides in this division, but the reasoning for finishing 20th, I just think with losing the key players like that, Rod McDonald, who's gone to Notts County, and Abraham Ado, who's gone to Peterborough, both key players last season, and there'll be a massive loss for them. But Harrogate will probably just go and prove me wrong like they do every year. I think last season I had them to maybe finish in bottom two. I'll have to look back, and a lot of pundits and fellow vloggers, I don't think had them to finish where they did, and yeah, they had a decent season to be fair. So yeah, that's my 20th pick. And to finish in at 19th is Grimsby Town. Not really recruited too much. I mean, reading on Twitter, I think Grimsby wanted to see a little bit more activity, and I'm just basing this on what other teams have done in this division, and it was a struggle for them last year as well. Obviously, staring relegation down the face at one point, managed to get out of it. Obviously, David Artell, I think he'll get him playing and they'll battle, but I just think they'll just not have enough to be pushing on into that top half. And yeah, Grimsby are always a battling outfit. Whenever I've seen them, I think I covered them once or twice last year, and lost a couple of key players. I know Abo Issa, I know a couple of, he'll say that he didn't really perform all the time, but the one I seen against Notts County were unplayable on that day. So yeah, players like that could be a loss. But yeah, I think they'll battle and they'll stay up, but not have enough to finish in that top half. So that's my 19th pick. To finish 18th this season in the AFL League Two is Tranmere Rovers. Nigel Atkins, Tranmere Rovers. I just think a lot similar to Grimsby. I just feel there's better teams in there. He'll get him playing some fantastic stuff, but I don't know. I just feel similar to last year. I know they struggled before Atkins coming in. He turned the ship really well, and I have seen a couple predict that they will finish higher. I just feel that there's better teams in this league. I think they'll have a decent spell, but maybe towards the end of the season they'll tail off a little bit. But yeah, that's my 18th pick, Tranmere Rovers. And to finish in 17th this year is Cheltenham Town. Obviously relegated last year. Darryl Clark has now moved on to Barnsley. I feel a big loss for him. Obviously Michael Flynn's now in charge. But I just think coming down, they'll just find this league tough. A lot of teams do struggle when they come down from League One, and yeah, I just think that transition they'll find it tough. And like I said, Darrell Clark's a big loss for them. But yeah, that's my reasoning for Cheltenham finishing in 17th. And to finish in 16th is a team I watched get promoted from the National League, is Bromley. I think they'll be hard to beat at home. That ground's compact. I think teams will find it hard to go there. He's gone playing some fantastic stuff. They've not lost any real players that they had from last year, and they look to have added young, hungry players. So that mixed with experience, what they already have, I think will go well. Yeah, and I think 16th they'll be more than happy with for a first season in the EFL. It'll be a cracking first season. So yeah, Bromley 16th. And to finish in 15th this season, I've got Barrow. Obviously a decent season last year, just missing out on the playoffs, but for me, I think they'll struggle a little bit this year. I think the jury's still out on Clements. He's an unproven manager. Didn't really set the world on fire with Gillingham last year. Gillingham fans will probably say that from where Gillingham were before he took over, they didn't really push him on. And yeah, they've made some decent signings in Conor Mooney, who's ex-Gillingham. He were on loan there. They've got him from Huddersfield. Cracking signing, but yeah, I just think with Clements, I just think the experience is not there, and like I said, the jury's still out for him. So yeah, Barrow finishing in 15th this season. Finishing in 14th, a team I was toying with whether they were going to have a better season than what I've put them in. I changed this quite a few times. I'm just going on experience again with the manager. Another team that come down last season, and that's Fleetwood. Obviously Charlie had him in charge. I did toy with him, pushing them up towards the playoffs, but I just think again, a bit like Cheltenham, I think they'll struggle in a tough league. I think out of the teams that's come down, there's two others which you'll see. I'll finish slightly better than Fleetwood without giving it too much away in this video. But yeah, I just think, like I said, like Cheltenham, they'll just find it a little bit tough. So yeah, that's my pick for finishing in 14th, Fleetwood. And a team to finish in 13th, strange old team. They've just been run-of-the-mill, mid-table-ish side for some years, and that's Walsall. Just looking at a couple of signings, one standout for me is Albert Adoma, obviously from QPR. Obviously going into League Two, it's a cracking signing. And a little bit like my other reasoning for where I've put them, I just think Walsall are just that middle of the table sort of team, and there's going to be better teams in this league, this division, this season. So yeah, that's my reasoning for Walsall sitting in 13th. And my pick to finish in 12th this season, a bit like Fleetwood, these could have gone one way or the other, and again, I've seen a few put these lower down. I just really like the manager for a League Two side. To have this gaffer in charge, I think he knows his stuff. They seem to have changed the ploy, what direction they want to go in terms of players coming in, and that's Salford City. Couple of names that they've brought in: James Chester, experience; Ben Woodburn, experience. Cole Stockton, experience. You get him firing, and they've lost players like Matt Smith, which is a strange one. Obviously, the keeper Alex Kearns, big loss. But yeah, I just think with Carl Robinson in charge, you're in good hands. I don't think they'll push for playoffs. I think they'll just be sitting comfortably in that mid-table sort of footing this season. So yeah, that's my reasoning for Salford finishing in 12th. So we're getting to the business end of the table now. If you've not heard your team, you can sort of get excited, but don't take around the ground's word for it, because I know absolutely nothing. I'm just an avid football fan. But yeah, my team to finish 11th this season is a team that lost in the playoff final last year, and that's Crewe Alexandra. I just think they'll come up a little bit short this season, and yeah, I just think there's better teams equipped for the season ahead. That's not to say they'll not be challenging for the playoffs. I think they'll be there or thereabouts all season. I just think they just won't have enough. Couple of signings to know. I think Omar Bogle, good signing, free transfer from Newport. Kane Emmons from Stevenage. Couple of losses. Elliot Nevitt, Gillingham, big loss. Obviously, he was a talisman last season. But yeah, I just think the disappointment also of last season losing in the playoffs. I think they'll just not as much success this year against some tough teams in this league. So yeah, that's my reasoning for Crewe finishing in an 11th. And my team to finish in 10th and have a better season this season than they did last. A bit like Salford, I think, with the guys that they've got in charge. Obviously, I'm going to name them now. The Cowleys. For a League Two club, I think it's really good. And yeah, I just think they'll have a better season this year. Made some decent signings. I mean, to get Lyle Taylor in, was at Cambridge, cracking signing. You got Tom Flanagan from Shrewsbury. They've just seemed to have recruited really well, and I just think they'll certainly pick up under the Cowleys and yeah, have a good go at the playoffs and just come up a little bit short. But from what they did last year, I think the Colchester fans will be definitely happy to be in that top half this season. So yeah, that's Colchester finishing in 10th. And my team to finish in 9th, if I were to pick this team solely on the kits they've got this year, they'll be finishing top because they've got some absolute bangers. But yeah, finishing in 9th position, just missing out on the playoffs, is AFC Wimbledon. Obviously in the mix last year, just tailed off. And I think they'll do similar again this year. I think they'll be there or thereabouts. But with the teams above them, I just think they'll just not have enough to break into that playoff positioning. I like Johnny Jackson, decent manager. But yeah, I just think that's my reasoning for them finishing in 9th. But like I say, cracking kits, you're number one for me in League Two. My team to finish 8th in the dreaded spot that no one wants and finishing just outside the playoffs is Notts County. Sorry, Notts fans. I know I've got a few pals now I've met along the way, but I just think I've got a few issues, reasoning why you're just going to miss out, and that's the manager. Firstly, I think since Luke Williams went on to Swansea last season, they just took a nosedive. Obviously they were in the playoffs, in the mix, and yeah, they just dropped off the face of the earth. Really, it were quite worrying, and yeah, they just slipped down the table. I predicted them to finish bloody top last year, so it shows how much I know. But yeah, I just think that appointment is it lacking that experience that they needed. There were talk that some other managers were linked with a job, but they decided to stick with him. And another big loss is Macaulay Longstaff, who's now moved on to Millwall. When you lose his goals, or any player's goals, they're hard to find strikers like that. Obviously, they've got the key players still. Jody Jones, he's a cheat code for League Two. But yeah, he's going to be a massive void to fill. I like the recruitment though. Obviously, defence was a big issue for Notts last year. Signing the likes of Matty Platt from Bradford, who was solid for them last year. Robbie Cundy from Barnsley. And we mentioned the Rob McDonald from Harrogate. So yeah, they seem to have gone out and addressed the defensive issues. But for me, Stuart Maynard, just maybe not have that experience to push them on to where they need to be. So sorry, Notts fans. 8th. You might be happy with that. You might not be. Get in the comments. So now to pick my top 7. So if you've made it into the top 7, you can look forward to a successful season, courtesy of the Round the Grounds. But don't take my word for it, because I'll be probably bang wrong with my predictions. But yeah, the team to finish 7th and sneaking inside to finish 7th is Bradford City. I like the manager, Crewe Alexandra. He's got that experience. He knows the game. Recruited fairly well. I think they're lacking a little bit of pace, which seemed to be always the situation with Bradford. I think they do lack that pace, but with the likes of Aidan Baldwin, who's come from Notts County, you got Sarcevic, who's got promoted last year. Again, Neil Bryn, whatever his name is, Stockport County, promoted last year. Tariq Wright, who's come back from Plymouth. I think he's the only noticeable player that's got a bit of pace. But yeah, I just think with the players that they've got, Patterson, who were out pretty much most of the season, they signed him from Harrogate last season. He could be a key player. And then they've got the main man up front, who looking at him, he looks to seem to have trimmed up a little bit. And he'll always score goals. Yeah, his age is against him a little bit now, but I think he'll score your 15 to 20. And yeah, a striker that gets that, they're worth the weight in gold, and I think he'll push them on, and Bradford will get in the playoffs this season. Like I said, Crewe Alexandra, he's got a manager who's got that experience. So yeah, that's my reasoning for Bradford finishing 7th. And my team to finish 6th is Gillingham. Good pal of mine, Gills in the Blood TV. I'll put you in the playoff places. Are you happy with that, or you're mad about that? Yeah, I think they recruited fairly well. We mentioned Elliot Nevin from Crewe, cracking signing. Amani Little from Wimbledon. Aaron Rowe. Jack Nolan from Accrington, he were their key player. And yeah, I just think we're under Mark Bonner. He's done it for Cambridge. He'll certainly have you in the mix. I can't see you not finishing inside them playoffs. You might even be better. I think just speaking to Matt, who's obviously Jules in the Blood TV, I think they're a few short, a bit light in the middle. But yeah, I think he's happy with the recruitment so far. But yeah, I think under Mark Bonner, he knows how to do it, especially in this league. So yeah, I think you'll certainly be in that playoff mix. You might even go better and challenge for the top 3. So yeah, that's my pick for 6th. So the team to finish 5th, and a team that come down from League One last year, and that's Port Vale. Obviously manager ex-Wednesday Darren Moore. He's certainly been back this year. The players that they've brought in, you've George Byers, ex-Wednesday, Ben Hannigan, who was at Fleetwood, also ex-Wednesday, Ronan Curtis, Ben Amos, bags of experience there, Jaden Stockley, and the lad from Aldershot, I'm going to try and pronounce this but not very well, Lauren Tolaji, is it? Get in the comments if I've pronounced that wrong or right. Yeah, he's certainly been backed. My worry would be Darren Moore. We just look at his past two jobs. Because obviously Huddersfield didn't go too well, and he's got a relegation to his name with Port Vale. But he'll be out to prove the doubters wrong. Obviously got Wednesday's promoted. My worry would be that Wednesday's season where it were in our hands and we sort of blew it and then ended up in the playoffs. I think it'll happen similar to that. Obviously, yeah, the players are there. He's spent the money, but it doesn't also mean that you're going to get that success. I think you've also got to have that manager that can push you into that top three. But yeah, I think there'll just be three better teams that's going to get the automatic spots, and yeah, it'll mean that Port Vale finish in the playoffs. And to finish fourth and just miss out on the top three, this was a tough pick. I swapped it a couple of times. I think they're going to have a really strong season, and that's Doncaster Rovers. 18 Dapper will probably be chucking darts at me head now, but I think even to finish fourth, I think it'll be an amazing season again. Obviously last season didn't start well, but that run at the end was quite remarkable really. It's one of them stories where fans really got behind because they wanted them to see him do it, and yeah, they just faltered in that playoff second leg to Crewe, where it were in their hands. But under Graham McCann seemed to have steadied the ship, and he's moved them forward. Some great signings, and want to know the experience. I know he's getting on a bit, but to bring Billy Sharp back to the club, I think it's some coup, and he's going to be some sort of impact player. I don't think he'll always necessarily start. With Ironside in there, I think he's a workhorse, and he can bring the goals. And yeah, I think you've got two quality strikers for this division. I just think, with my reasoning for him finishing fourth, I just think there's three better teams that will finish above them this year. But for finishing in fourth, I think it'll be a cracking season for Donny Rovers. 18 Dapper, please don't hate me, mate. Get in the comments if you're happy with my selection, mate. But yeah, Donny finishing in fourth. Now my pick for third. I'm banking on this one being like a Notts County last year, but not proving me horribly wrong. This team, I think, are going to be on a crest of a wave after smashing the National League to bits last year and finishing in third and getting back-to-back promotions. I believe Chesterfield, under Paul Cook, cracking manager, knows this division inside out, with the players that they already had, which was absolutely brilliant already. They've recruited experience in this division, signing the likes of Paddy Madden, who got promoted with Stockport, last year, and Che Dunkley, who was at Shrewsbury, really good acquisition and is a solid centre half. But yeah, with the players I think they've already got, the likes of them two, I think are just going to add to it. And I just think teams coming up, there's always that one that really pushes on again. You look at Wrexham last year, they did that. So there's no reason I think Chesterfield can't go and do that this year. I've always got to have one that's going to maybe surprise people. Probably people will not put them as high as what I have, but I just like it under Paul Cook. I think the fans they're going to turn out in numbers, home and away, and yeah, just be glad to be back in the EFL. I think there's a buzz about the place now, and for that reason, I think it'll just carry that momentum on this season in League Two. So yeah, that's my reasoning behind Chesterfield finishing in third. And my pick for finishing in second is another team that got relegated last year. A really poor season for Carlisle. It was a tough pick, this one, but I just basing it on the players that they recruited last year and the recruitment that they've had this year. And I like the fact that they've stuck with the manager, Paul Simpson. They could have easily moved him on and gone down a different route. I like the fact that they've stuck with him. Going to give him that time. And I think with the recruitment, like I said, that they had in January, spent a bit of money with obviously the new owners coming in and the new signings coming in this year. Bit of a risk in Charlie White, obviously his health issues, but you get him firing, it's a cracking signing. Aaron Hayden from Wrexham, solid defender. And yeah, I just think with what they got, obviously Luke Armstrong, I think he's going to come back into this league and have a point to prove. Obviously signing from Harrogate. But I just think with what they've done and stuck with Simpson, I think it's going to put them in good stead for the upcoming season, and they'll bounce back and get promoted after a disappointing season last year. So yeah, Carlisle to finish second this season. And my pick for finishing first in the League Two champions is MK Dons. Jonathan, you'll be over the moon, mate. I just think with what they've done over the summer, they've had a complete overhaul. But under Mike Williamson, in very good hands. Disappointing season last year, but I think that'll spur them on this year. Obviously, they'll want to put that right, and I just think they'll hit the ground running and be up there more or less all season. Signing the likes of Tom Carroll's bags of experience, the former Spurs man, and yeah, they've signed quite a few players. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 players. So yeah, it's been a complete overhaul. Obviously losing players like Max Dean could be a big loss. But yeah, I just think they'll be really up for this year and wanting to put it right from last year and be the team to beat this year, certainly. So that's my reasoning for MK Dons finishing at top of the league and yeah, winning the title. So Jonathan, what do you think, my friend? Are you happy? Got to be happy with that prediction. So yeah, that wraps up my League Two predictions, league table predictions. I'm not an expert, it's just a bit of fun. Like I say, drop in the comments if you agree with where your team's going to be, or if you disagree. I'm not an expert, I just do it for a little bit of fun, and yeah, just a couple of bonus videos. Like I say, I'm going to do League One and Championship coming up, but I'm really looking forward to covering this league again. League Two, it's a fantastic league. There's going to be some cracking games coming up, and yeah, I can't wait to bring the content and yeah, just see where my predictions end up, see if I get any right. We might do a little couple of mid-season top-up videos to see how my predictions are getting on, see if I'm close or see if I'm doing absolutely dreadful again. But appreciate you all watching if you've come this far, me waffling on about my predictions. So thank you everyone for watching. If you could smash that like button, it will really mean a lot to me and pushes it out to different people. And if you're new, subscribe, because I'm going to be on my travels soon, covering plenty of games. I go to different games. I'm a Wednesday fan, but my channel I just cover EFL games and non-league. So I'll probably be coming to a ground near you. And yeah, look forward to the new season and new hopes and dreams, and hope your team does better than what I've predicted, because no one wants to have a bad season. That's the beauty of football. We just don't know what's going to be round the corner for us all. We could have a better season than what Around the Grounds has predicted. I hope for you all anyway. But thanks for watching. Enough of me waffling on, and we'll see you on another one. Thanks for watching, everyone.